So this is just a quick look back at the review of the DC Parts modified variator that I fitted a couple of weeks ago. Just to let you know how it's been going. This one here is the original Honda one. So if those of you haven't actually seen it, you've got the two plates that sit together like this, and the belt sits inside. So I've had it now for I think sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and just to give you an idea of actually how it's performed and what's been going on, and some little sort of hints and tips and a few little things to look out for with it. The first thing to note straight away is is acceleration on the bike. I'm a big guy, and it's a little 125. I do ride a larger motorbike during the summer, but this one is what I use throughout the winter and for commuting. The acceleration on the scooter is quite significantly faster. It does get you up to speed a lot quicker. It doesn't necessarily provide you with a much higher top speed. I would probably estimate maybe 5 or 6 miles an hour, maybe give you a higher top speed. Others may see a difference depending on how you look after the bike. So these are certain factors that you need to bear in mind. Fitting is very, very easy. Unlike this is a 2021 model, so prior to 2021 you actually had to take off the side panels to actually get to the clutch cover here. On this one you don't need to remove anything here. It's just one panel and the main panel there. All the screws are there, they're obvious, it's fairly easy to do, it's not a big issue. You then have one single nut, I think a 22mm nut in there, which you undo to actually remove the variators. But one thing to bear in mind is that once you actually have fitted it and you do ride, you may notice an increase in noise. Not specifically vibrations, but certainly an increase in noise. It's a little bit louder coming from this bit here, and the reason for that is I'll try to explain as best I can. So if you think of this is the outer plate. You've got the fins here, the outer plate. What actually happens is they take the original Honda part, and these plates here are machined slightly, so a little bit is shaved off, and it creates a different profile on these. So if you actually look at the profile there, it creates a slightly different profile. And what this actually does is it makes the belt sit down a little lower. And because it's a little bit lower in that gap, it actually makes it just a little bit looser. Now the best way to explain this is by using a bike. So the bike gears, we've all ridden bikes, we've all got bikes, we've ridden them. We've all got bikes with gears. So if you think of these here gears here, right? So when your chain goes onto the top gear here, the very top one, it's actually quite tight because it's got quite a long way to travel. But as it starts to come down the gears, okay, to the smaller cog here, the chain has less distance to travel, so it becomes a little slacker. And that's what's happening to your belt. So you may find when you ride a bike that the gear becomes, if you're going over bumpy ground, the actual chain does slap a little bit, which is fine, exactly the same as happening to the belt. But it's not an issue. It isn't a problem. It doesn't impact on the delivery, doesn't impact on the performance. It's designed that way. They've only shaved off a specific amount to give you that increase. So what I would recommend is, it's not a massive investment. I think mine was about £70. I want to point out that I'm not getting paid to do this by DC Parts. I'm not getting any benefit from DC Parts for this variator, absolutely not. I did pay full price for it. But for £70, there may have been a slight increase with regards to the cost, I don't really know, but around that cost, give it a go. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to remove the old variator, put the new one back on. Really no issue. Somebody with no particular skill, it might take you a little bit longer to make sure you actually do it properly. But you just need some spanners, an Allen key, and a wrench. Another quick tip actually, as far as actually removing the cover, you might see some videos on what sort of get some advice that you need a clutch holder. What you can do as well is if you just remove this plate here, it actually exposes about 3 or 4 inches of the centre here. What that enables you to do is to actually get your socket onto the nut, okay, and you can place a rod or something or a spanner in there, and it will jam against the metal plate that you haven't yet taken off. So just take this plastic plate. It creates a hole. You take the metal plate off, and that way you can turn it, and it will hold, and it will enable you to undo the nut. So give that a go. So I would suggest giving it a bash. it's great fun. You will see a reduction in your miles per gallon. There's two reasons for that. One is you'll be riding probably a lot quicker, and you'll be accelerating a lot harder, because it is great fun to have that additional sort of, get up to speed ability. I saw about a 0.2 decrease in my miles per gallon. Not massive. If it's not really your thing, if you're just quite happy to plod along, then that's brilliant. But if you want some fun on this great little bike, okay, then the variator probably is one of the best things that you can do. So give it a bash.